Insights. Oh, yep, there we go. Welcome to the Astro Insights for April. We are going to have a month with a very different type of energy, very different type of flow, roughly about halfway through the month. And I have my little assistant chiming in from time to time. If you're here with me, let me know if you have any questions or things come up that you are wondering about. Let me know. So this month we have first like a burst of energy. We're still in Aries season. A lot of planets are still traveling through Aries, or actually have like a clump of planets that are traveling through Aries, just like we had last month, a lot of planets in Pisces, and before that, a lot of planets in Aquarius. So, what is happening this month is really it is a good time to utilize that Aries energy, that fiery, that startup, that get up and go energy, and at the same time, when we have the tipping point, to use that fire and because just come to think about it as the analogy of nature. When there has been a fire, the ground is very fertile. So we move from a lot of fire moving into earth, more grounded, more practical, actually being able to stay the course, because when we have too much fire for too long, it kind of creates too much destruction. And therefore we do need some grounding and some practical approach. So let's dive into the month ahead. On April 3rd or 4th, depending on where you are, Mercury is entering Aries, and that is until April 18th. Hello Wendy, good that you're here. Which is it's a time, well, I mean, this last month, you've seen me do these lives, kind of having to search for words. That is Mercury in Pisces. It is connected to the outer realms. It's not really very focused. It's very much listening to the intuition and less with actual verbalizing it. Mercury into Aries is verbalizing everything. Is really allowing yourself to, hi Susan, really allowing yourself to put words to the things that you're meant to put out into the world. So hopefully next week my life will be a little bit more straightforward when I talk. At the same time, it also helps our decision making. Aries is not the sign that likes to think about things or mull things over for many days or weeks. Aries is like, yep, this looks good, let's go for it. So that is the energy of Mercury entering Mercury entering Aries. Then on April 11th or April 12th, depending on your location, we have the new moon as 22 degrees Aries. And this is a really beautiful time to tune into what are your desires? What is it that you want to put out into this world? And Aries is very passionate. It's very, it really ignites your inner fire. So during this lunation, allow yourself to sit down and really flesh out what it is that that you want to bring into this world. What is it that you want to do? Now, do take a moment to consider whether your desire for action comes from that inner flame, that inner fire, or that it might come from wanting to prove yourself in front of other people, or almost wanting to compete with other people, because Aries likes that type of energy. So check in with yourself, really feel in your body, because Aries also rules our physical body. Really check in with your body. Where is this desire coming from? Is this really like this internal desire, or is it something that I'm projecting and looking at other people to actually call that in? But you do want to give it like a day or two before actually taking action, because Aries doesn't really think much. It's just like it just wants to go into action mode. give it a little bit of time for things to sink in, because you don't want to come from a place of ego. It really comes from a place of aligned action. Now we have Mercury and Venus really snuggled up with this new moon. So it's actually very supportive. Aries can be intense, but this one's actually very smooth. It's Mercury on one side, Venus on the other side. It's really like this very beautiful supported energy, really like onward and upwards. Then on April 14th, we have Venus entering Taurus. Now Venus wasn't really at home in Aries, and now it goes into Taurus, which is one of the signs that she rules, and it's really about like grounded pleasure. It's really making love more tactile, more things you can actually feel. Because Venus in Taurus is really ruling our senses, so your smell, touch, hearing, and really allow yourself to feel through that. So for the next 3.5 weeks, really tune into your senses. And she also offers security and stability within your finances and your romantic relationship. So it's a really good time to kind of reinforce the foundation that you have, your financial foundation, and to really use that to kind of build from that and to build, to really steadily grow your wealth. Because Taurus is the steady sign. Taurus is not the get-go. It's really like, okay, so this is what we need, this is what we need to build, and this is the steady path that we're taking. So if you've been wanting to look at your finances, look at the way that you structure things, that's a really good time to help you be grounded and practical about your approach. Okay, my computer is not working along with me. The next one up is April 18th. We have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Aries. So this is really a day to tackle problems head on, because it will be very easy to make decisions. Both the Sun and Aries, both the Sun and Mercury in Aries is really about getting into this action mode. Like I said in the beginning, the first part of April is really about getting into action, doing the things, launching things, setting things up. And this would be a very good day to let the fire of Aries burn away the objections and the problems that you're feeling, so you can actually make decisions. Because very often we are blocked by the idea of our problems, by the idea of the issues that we have. But if we can really face them head on for really what they are, instead of all the emotions and all the feelings and the past, I would say past drama that we take into the situations. But what if we can look at the issues, look at the things, the problems, from a very head-on kind of mentality? What can we do with it? How can we work through this? Also, if you have clients that are struggling with issues that keep coming up, and it doesn't seem like there is a way out of this loop, this is a really good day to sit down with them, or to tell them to sit down with themselves, for them to take a moment to sit down and really try to see if this unsolvable problem, is it really unsolvable? Now, in some cases, yes, it really is. But there is always a thing you can do to start moving things forward. There's always a way where you can tune into, how can I work with this issue? How can I work with this problem? So really, April 18th, clear out some time to actually work on that problem or that issue, or maybe there are several problems, several issues that keep arising for you. So make sure that you spend a little bit of time looking into that. Drink lots of tea that day, because fire could actually also heat up your body. like I said, Aries rules also rules our physical body, so it's also important to keep your body cool. And then on the next day, we're actually cooling down because on April 19th, we have the Sun entering Taurus and Mercury entering Taurus. Because they were conjunct the previous day, they still are conjunct the next day, so they both move into the sign of Taurus. Now, where Aries was kind of the idea machine and wanting to do a lot of things, Taurus will actually help you to follow through. It helps you to stay the course and get practical into actually implementing some of those ideas. Because where Aries kind of fires these ideas off and fire off the passion and the drive and the determination, but it usually can't really stay the course. It's like, okay, on to the next. Now, Taurus will help you to get more focused. It's practical, it's grounded, it's an earth sign, it's a fixed earth sign. So once it has its vision set on something, it will actually follow through. This for the Sun, but also for Mercury. It will help you to make grounded decisions. It will actually help you to execute things, to really get things going. Mercury's moving very fast at this moment, so it only stays in there for 2 weeks. So really utilize those 2 weeks to get very practical and to check things off your to-do list. Again, also honoring your inner guidance and checking in with the natural pace of things to unfold. So don't try to rush things, because in Taurus season, like things don't get rushed. Things are steady, are reliable, are trustable. Then on April 22nd, we have Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Now this is really like a pattern interruption. If you remember, every time I talk about Uranus, Uranus is this radical transformation. It's uprooting everything we believed in and then kind of shifting it around. With Venus there, Venus is rules our relationship, our finances. So this will be a day where, the change won't be instant. So it's not like on April 22nd, we're all going to have these huge turnarounds where we just like lose it and things are like changing all of a sudden. Because Uranus does initiate the change, but it might take a little bit longer to implement because Uranus is in Taurus. And like I said, Taurus is more steady, is more, it doesn't go super fast. Now what it means when Venus is conjunct to Uranus is that within our relationship and within our finances, we can expect some very unexpected turns, things that show up that we haven't considered, that weren't a problem before, but now all of a sudden we realize, oh, wait a minute, this really doesn't work. And it doesn't have to be bad. It simply shows you where things can be transformed and where things can be shifted. It really kind of draws your attention to your love life as well as your financial situation, where you're being asked to really zoom in, and it's also not like a conscious decision that you can make. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, look at my finances, look at my love life. This is like, it's almost like you're in a dark room and somebody suddenly turns on the spotlight. Your eyes will go to wherever the light is shining. This is kind of what Uranus is doing. Not like we're all in the dark, but there are spots in our love life as well as in our finances that are a little bit darker. And if Uranus suddenly turns on the light, you're like, oh, wait, that is really out of alignment. That is not in what I want for the future. So you will be able to actually work through that. Then on April 23rd, we have Mars entering Cancer. Now this isn't the most ideal placement for Mars, because Mars is action, Mars is power, and Cancer is soft, is feminine, is very considerate about other people. So when you're really the way that you take action, which is Mars, the way that we make decisions is in Cancer. You might consider other people a little bit too much. Now, I'm not saying to be super selfish and only think about yourself, but sometimes we need to take steps and not care too much about what other people around us will think or will say or will do. This is your responsibility into allowing the surrounding factors to be there, but to not completely block you off. And I mean, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Taurus. So all of the things kind of feel like slowing down. It feels like driving with the handbrake on. It doesn't mean that we're not driving, because technically, if the handbrake is not completely off, you can still drive. But it feels like a lot more effort. It feels like you have to work harder for things. Because when Mars was in Aries, and it did a super long transit in Aries, because it also went retrograde in Aries and then direct again, it really was almost like this aggressive energy. Mars in Cancer is really the opposite. It's looking at other people before taking action. It's considering other people's feeling, which is a good thing. But if that is blocking you, is stopping you, then you still get stuck. So that's something to pay attention to on April 23rd. Then we have a day coming up, and I don't often say this, but this is a day where I would advise you, if you can, to take a day off, or at least schedule your calendar as spacious as possible, which is on April 26th or 27th, depending on where you are. It is the full moon at 7 degrees Scorpio. And I would say this probably would be one of the most intense and disruptive full moons of the year. Now, Scorpio is the sign that really likes to go deep into our shadows, uncover like all of the yuckiness that we don't want to deal with. And when there's a full moon, obviously it highlights the parts that are hidden. So it's a day where, well, actually the weekend. So this full moon is on a Monday or Tuesday, but that weekend before, you will already feel the intensity. So when you're interacting with other people, be very compassionate and also very understanding when you interact with other people, because we're all feeling this. We're all having our shadows being revealed. But the beauty about this full moon, and this is not a negative thing, that it's emotionally really intense. It actually helps us to bring that darkness out into the light. And once it's up into the light, the only way it can go is up. The only way it can, the only motion is to transform it. Because once we have consciously seen it, we are transforming it already. So it's like really deep issues will surface, and the only thing for you to do is to acknowledge that. Now, by acknowledging it, that's actually what starts the transformation. Scorpio can also kind of get into this power dynamic, this power struggle. So it's not a very good day to sign new contracts or to get involved in like a business, a big business decision, or even like a big personal decision, because it is an emotional sign, but it is a fixed sign. So it gets very kind of stuck in, it's my or the highway, which is not ideal for you, but also not for the other party where you're that you're meeting with. So be very gentle on that day. because it's like I said, it's an intense energy, and if you're looking for taking a day off, this would be the day to take a day off. The last aspect that we have is Pluto stationing retrograde that lasts until October 6th, and that's really about releasing the past. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, so a lot of things are very similar, where we're really diving into releasing what doesn't serve us anymore. And because it's a long retrograde, it's not like we have to like sit down on April 27th and do our Pluto work, which is basically our shadow work. But it's something that you should consider over the next 5 months, to connect with yourself and the parts of you that are ready to be transformed. Pluto is the kind of burning everything down so it can grow up again. And it is like seeing things in a different light. So Pluto is in Capricorn at the moment, so it also deals with the way that you structure things, but also your attachment to your accomplishments. Because Pluto in Capricorn can be very much grasping on to, but this is what I accomplish, and that says something about my worthiness. It's that detachment from, okay, I'm really proud of what I accomplished, because I highly encourage everybody that's watching to celebrate your accomplishments, not just with yourself, but with people who are willing to celebrate your successes. But to not detach, or not to attach too much value to it, where if there is not the accomplishment you hope for, that it says something about your worthiness. So it's really a good time to look at the ways that you attach meaning to accomplishments in your business or personal accomplishments, and celebrate for what they are, and at the same time your worthiness is connected within yourself. It has nothing to do with the external things that you put out into the world. And that wraps up the month. It is relatively, I won't say smooth sailing, but it is a month where it gives us a lot of tools to work with. Sometimes there are a lot of aspects that are kind of happening to you. This is a month where you can actively like grab a lot of things and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because we have a lot of energy around the Aries and then the Taurus, which helps us to get things done. I'm going to wrap up here. If you are interested in diving deeper, how to use this Aries energy, because it's really good to know where the Aries energy falls in your personal chart. And if you know where it falls, it actually helps you to really get the ball rolling even faster, because there are certain aspects in your life that are highlighted that actually benefit a lot from focusing that energy into that direction. Now, just to take myself as an example, a lot of this Aries energy is happening in my 6th house, which is a house of routines, setting up daily routines, setting up structures, being of service. So I know that this, especially the first half of this month, is really focused on setting up different routines and habits so that I can actually stay into that action mode and keep working on the things that I'm passionate about. Now, if you also want to know where all of this energy is falling and how to use this in your energy, really direct the energy and your focus towards that goal that is really highlighted for you this month, contact me and I will let you know how we can work together and really bring your business to the next level, bring more ease and joy into your life, because doing business or having a business is fun. And if you're not having fun, you just haven't cracked the code yet, and I can help you crack that code. I'm wishing you an amazing day and a beautiful Easter weekend if you are celebrating, and I will talk to you again next week.